Were you put off by what Trump said about supporting Vladimir Putin and NATO?
No.
Really? I mean, that's the first time that we've heard a U.S. president say that they would support the Russian either premier at one point or president now.
I don't really, in that sense, I'm not put off by it, right? I mean, it is his own opinion, right? So I'm not put off by it at all.
Do you support NATO?
I don't know exactly what NATO is. I've heard a lot of people talking about it lately, but I'm not too sure what it is.
It's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's more of the same. Some confident conclusions about a subject that she knows nothing about. I doubt she even knows what Donald Trump said about encouraging Putin to invade NATO countries. All she heard was Donald Trump and do you agree with him?
Donald Trump recently said that he would support Vladimir Putin, that if Vladimir Putin went into another NATO country, he would support what Putin was doing because they weren't paying their fair share.
See, I believe that's... See, I don't see how Donald Trump would support Putin in any way, shape, or form because it's probably based on a lie.
Well, I'm only basing it on something he said on television, that Trump said.
I don't believe it.
When you can't cry fake news, all that's left is to cry fake Donald Trump, I guess. But it's still always the media's fault. It makes you wonder what the minions and minions of MAGA supporters thought when they heard it at his speech in South Carolina.
We were already into Ukraine for over $200 billion. And they could make a deal with Russia in the next 3 weeks, and all of a sudden they don't want to deal with us anymore. We've given hundreds of billions of dollars. And why are we at over $200 billion? And the European nations are, if you add them up, it's a very similar sized economy. They're at $25 billion. I did the same thing with NATO. I got them to pay up. NATO was busted until I came along. I said, everybody's going to pay. They said, well, if we don't pay, are you still going to protect us? I said, absolutely not. They couldn't believe the answer. And everybody, you never saw more money pour in to Secretary General Stoltenberg. They asked me that question. One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
First of all, man, the validity of this entire conversation that Trump relayed is on shaky ground. It's after he delivered his classic sign of lying during a retelling of a story or an exchange by saying, one of the presidents of a big country, he said, sir, it's always the tell. And secondly, the irony of a guy that owes states, counties, police departments, contractors, attorneys, anybody, complaining about anyone not paying their bills is off the charts. He presents our situation in the world as untouchable, just as long as he's around, screwing things up. But for those MAGA folks, life and logic starts and ends with what Donald Trump says. Just listen to him, not someone knowledgeable like our former ambassador to Ukraine.
I think little by little, you're going to see allies and partners hedging their bets. And what that means is if they can't count on us for support, ultimately, in the future, we're not going to be able to count on them for support. That is a very dangerous place for the U.S. to be in, because our alliances, our partnerships around the world is one of our greatest strengths. You know, people talk about America first, but America first could very well become America alone.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because when you talk about NATO and the Article 5, which is how the mutual defense part about it, the only time it's ever been invoked is in defense of America.
Yes.
After the attacks of 9/11. The rest
right.
of NATO said, it is as if we have been attacked. We will come to your aid as if we have been attacked.
The former president has been laying the groundwork for his international exhibitions of devotion to Vladimir Putin for years by telling wide-eyed supporters that they only need him, all while he and his enablers just show how little they believe in their slogan, America First.
And before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It would never have happened. I used to talk to Putin. I got along well with Putin. I used to talk to Putin about it. It's something he certainly had in his mind, never even talked about it. For 4 years, you didn't even hear about it. As soon as I was out or left, or however you want to describe that catastrophe, they started putting soldiers on the border. But even then, he didn't want to do it. He wanted to get a peace. Now it looks like he'll end up probably getting the whole thing.
Now, we're the one that forced this war because we kept forcing NATO on Ukraine and showing Russia, hey, we're going to build military bases on your borders. And Putin said, no, you're not going to do that.
Trump likes to go on and on about how Putin never tried anything while he was in office. But why would he when he knows he can get whatever he wants by acting like he gives a damn about you? He talks about being friends with dictatorial-style leaders all over the world, but promises that he's tough with them in private where no one ever sees it happen. Unlike how much he publicly hates and demeans the people of this country.
I want to ask you...
The country is just, it's so pathetic. And you know, other countries are watching this. I'll tell you what, I got to know Putin very well. I got to know Xi very well. I got along with everybody, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But they knew it was no games. I was talking to Putin a lot about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye. There's no way he would have ever moved. It's the people from within our country that are more dangerous than the people outside. We can handle China. We can handle Russia. We can handle all of them if you have a smart leader. But the inside people are very dangerous.